Erik ten Hag is all but done as the Manchester United manager as stories start to emerge about his summer transfer plans, the overhaul he wants at the club from a coaching point of view, the new director of football or deputy director of football that United are looking to appoint, and the complete overhaul that is planned under the new Dutch manager, not only on the training ground, not only in terms of personnel and style of football, but a hierarchical change in terms of football decision-making at Manchester United. This has been what the club has needed for a very, very long time with a young, competent, up-and-coming manager. We're going to delve into that and much, much more on the Done Deal Show for you, and we are going to take your calls as well. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you think and feel because your opinions matter more. Smash that like button. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Good evening, maybe. Manchester United will be appointing Erik ten Hag. It looks a certainty from this point. Big transfer plans, big summer's transfer plans also being revealed by a number of very credible outlets this morning, and we want to delve into that in a lot more detail. We want to hear from you as well. The lines are open for you to call in. Is Ten Hag the right person in your opinion? And how encouraged are you by everything that's being discussed behind the scenes? That, for me, is the key and most pivotal part. It really, really is. And I want to know what you're all thinking and feeling. It's a big day for Manchester United, or a big couple of days with this looking to be getting done and be getting pushed and maybe getting itself over the line. A very big couple of days indeed. Indeed, it really is. I want to look at some of your early comments coming through. Should go after Anthony, Timber as a centre-back, Kamara, Hadara, and Darwin. Promote Hannibal. I think you mean Garner as a CM, Fernandez and Laird fullbacks. There's that'll be a lot of young players coming in, but I certainly get your point of view there, my friend. Terry, do you think you can get top four now? Look, I'm not going to change my opinion on anything to do with Manchester United's season. I'm not going to change anything to do with how I feel Manchester United are going to perform this year. This could be a shot in the arm. This could be a kick up the backside. This could create a bit of galvanization. It could make a few players think, I better start playing for my career if I want to stay here. Maybe plans get revealed internally, and some players think, I really want to be part of this. But that, for me, is something I'm not going to hold my breath for at this moment in time. I think that would be folly. David here says, afternoon, Terry. I know what you are doing, Terry, keeping the caps on until you do a slow-mo. Yeah, that's exactly why the hat's staying on, my friend. We'll reveal it at the end. That way people will see the real development. Terry, you guys will get Anthony and Timber, Ajax players, Ten Hag knows. And look, we're going to delve into all of that later in the show, who we're kind of linked with today and everything else that's going on at the football club. But what's very key when you read the stories coming out today is this isn't just about hiring Ten Hag. If you go through the reports from the Telegraph, if you go through the reports that are coming out of Holland, if you go to the reports from some very credible sources, this is all about rebuilding. This is all about a club philosophy. This is all about culture. This is all about doing something different at the hierarchical board level of the football club. That's what's most encouraging to me. I want Ten Hag as the coach and as the manager. I want that. But what's imperative at Manchester United is that we make changes from a football decision-making point of view. Who is running the club from a football standpoint? Who gets control? And there needs to be complete and utter universal thinking. The way we are playing football in the academy ranks has to match how we're playing football in the first team. There cannot be this huge differential. The types of players we're trying to recruit as young players through our academy has to match the players that we're trying to buy in the transfer market for the first team. There has to be unilateral thinking. And when you look at the stories that are coming out today, two of the big major guarantees that Ten Hag wants is that he wants at the club backroom staff that fit his style, his philosophy, that the club have said they want to inject across the whole club, across Manchester United. He wants guarantees to have freedom of management over players. This is things that have been taken away from others. Case in point, Jose Mourinho not being allowed to sell Anthony Martial and Paul Pogba because he didn't think they were going to work for his system. Ten Hag and his new team want complete autonomy in this. That will, of course, be given to them by the new deputy director of football, Fletcher and Myrtle, that will be running things. For me, I'm highly encouraged by this. And the reason I'm highly encouraged by all of this is because Manchester United have needed to rebuild the internal goings-on. The power needs to be given back to the football people. You need to be able to make football decisions when who you're selling and who you're buying. Not shirt sales are going to go down, though. The commercial side, these two have great online support. Therefore, we lose some traction. We might upset a few fanboys. We need to get away from that style of thinking. We need to stop being a commercial club first and a football club second and work the other way around if we want to yield success on the pitch. Because I kid you not, and I stand by this, if you employ Ten Hag and you run us as a football club first, there is a massive chance that United will be back. Not day one, not day two, but over a 2 to 3 year period, this club could get itself back to being ready to challenge on all fronts across Europe. We have the infrastructure. If we build the infrastructure with the money that we have, with the pool that we still have as a football club, with a coach like Ten Hag, there's a great chance we could be successful. Time, infrastructure, culture, the money's already there, and patience is needed. The great thing about someone like an Erik Ten Hag is, though, I believe very early on you'll see his style of football. I believe very early on you'll see what he is trying to do. And when you see what he is trying to do, I think more fans will buy into it. I think more fans will be together on this. And to quote Lies, because this is he's saying here, and I don't plagiarize. United shouldn't cheat the process. The process should not be cheated, and it's key. Now, what I want to speak about as well are the transfer links to Manchester United that are kind of doing the rounds. And there's a number of things. First and foremost, it very much looks like Manchester United want to get a striker this summer, which I think it is key to get a striker, along with two accomplished high-energy midfielders. Reading that is music to my ears. I understand people say, what about fullback? What about left back? What about replacing Maguire? Listen, we're not fixing every player issue in Ten Hag's first summer, so drop it. Midfield and strikers are key. And say why midfield and strikers are key. Pogba's leaving. Nobody else in our midfield is of a high enough level, or has proven to be of a consistent high enough level to win us enough games. Facts. Has to be a key. More so than fullbacks, more so than centre-backs. We need a striker as well, because Cavani's head's not here and his body can't do it. Ronaldo has 1 year left in him, and he isn't even at the level that we want him to be now anyway. Rashford, everybody wants out. Martial's done. Greenwood's not coming back. We have to buy a forward. These two positions are imperative. Now, interesting with the links this morning, is the number of players United are linked with. Calvin Phillips' name has come up. Already plays that lone pivot. Has done very, very well in what I saw Daniel Devil in the Details refer to as a already chaotic team. Now, he won't be in a chaotic team at Man United under Ten Hag. There will be structure. There will be shape. There will be hot. It will suit him down to the ground. There's also links with Declan Rice. There's also links with, striker-wise, Harry Kane up front. Now, Man United feel confident that they can attract these types of players. Now, I know there's very much a thought process of I'd rather sign cheaper players, more techie players, players with a little bit less pressure attached to them, because, of course, signing 70, 80, 100 million pound players hasn't always worked out for Manchester United. But these are some of the links, along with two very talented players from the current Ajax team. First of all, you have centre-back, young 20-year-old centre-back, Timber. I think his name is pronounced Timber. It's spelt Timber. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. He's linked with a move to Man United. So there could be young centre-back coming through as well. And of course, there is Anthony as well. Now, Anthony's a player that has been linked with United for about 2 or 3 months solidly now. Again, another young player, 22 years of age, highly talented, linked with Manchester United. And I kind of look at the summer and there's talk that he could cost somewhere between 60 to 70 million pounds. I personally think with United's links at Ajax, I think a deal for him could be done maybe a little bit cheaper. But you sort of look at it and think he's a right winger. You've got centre backs we're looking at. We've got some established Premier League players that we're looking at. Could be a very, very interesting summer indeed. And we need an established striker. We need some quality midfield players with a touch of, with a sprinkling of individuals that already know Ten Hag. And I always think it's key for a manager to bring backroom staff and or players in that are familiar with their style of football. Either players that they've already worked with or players that they wanted to sign at their previous clubs. And you often get that in football where, you know what, I wanted to bring him into my previous club, but we couldn't get it done. He is perfect for me as an example. It could often help with the integration and the transition between managers. So there's a number of players that we're linked with: Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice, Harry Kane, Anthony, Timber. A lot of these individuals, some you'll be more familiar with than others. But United have promised Ten Hag that they will give him suitable funds, somewhere in the region of £200 million to be able to spend on players this summer. Ten Hag, of course, has already said to them that me establishing the philosophy, me having hungry players that want to develop and want to work is more important than buying superstar names. But of course, if you can sign a superstar that also fits all the other criterias, it makes a lot more. There's not very many better strikers out there than Harry Kane. There's very few midfielders in Europe, legitimately, that are better than Declan Rice. Now, he's very expensive. So there's a part of me that thinks maybe we could buy 2 or 3 more players to help the squad and not get Declan Rice. You know, £100 million is in my eyes a little bit too much for him. But in terms of pound for pound quality, risk of transition into a new club, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips are highly capable individuals. And I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. So make sure you're smashing like buttons on the show this morning. Make sure you're getting that done right now. Give the like button a little bit of a smash. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. We're going to take your calls. Josh here says, if it's true that Ten Hag has a veto on the players, that's a game changer because it allows the manager to make his squad. Absolutely. And this is something that Man United have removed for a long time. We should have a club philosophy. We should have a director of football. Or we should have a football decision-making panel that are in complete control. And you bring in a manager stroke coach who kind of run things. But, you know, if Ten Hag is the head coach and he comes in and says, listen, I'm going to throw a name out here. If he comes in and says Bruno Fernandes does not match what I need, Bruno Fernandes cannot do what I need him to do to make us function, the football club, of course, they talk about it internally. They identify new targets, but they have to listen to the manager and they have to make the best decision for Man United on a footballing basis. When Man United goes back to doing this, that is when Manchester United will find itself climbing back up the mountain towards the peak. It's what Liverpool will do in the contemporary sense. It's what Manchester City would do in the contemporary sense. All the most successful clubs will move players on that don't fit how they're trying to play football. If, for instance, you say, got to keep Bruno, he's too important to us on the commercial front, we're done. We're absolutely done out here. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. So that needs to happen. It just does. And let me throw this out there now. What you are going to get are the Ollie outers when we sign Ten Hag. If we start improving in our football ability, quality straight away, we'll say, see, told you we just needed a quality manager. Wrong. Wrong. We need a club structure more than we need a world-class manager first. You could be the best manager in the world, the most accomplished manager in the world. You could have been a manager that's won trebles. You could be a manager that's won Champions League. You could be a manager that's won leagues in multiple countries. You could be looked at as one of the greatest managers of the last 30 to 40 years. In fact, we could have employed 2 of them, and they will fail without structure. They will fail without a clear plan. They will fail if we cheat the process. And people hate words like it's a process, it's a process. You should be focused on the process more than the style of play. You should be focused on the process more than the players that we sign. You should be focused on the process more than the coach who's in charge. Because if that process behind the scenes and the structure and the culture of the club is solid, moving managers and players in and out becomes a conveyor belt exercise that works. That's why you'll see a club like Bayern Munich. They'll hire a new coach, head coach. He'll be doing a bad job. Not really getting into the players' minds. His tactics aren't working. The players aren't listening to him. They can get him out, bring somebody new in, and straight away, bang, they're back. Bang, they're back. Barcelona have hired Xavi. Oh, look at Xavi. He's doing bits. He is. But look at the hierarchical, internal, structural changes that club made throughout the summer. That's where the winning is done. That's where successful clubs maintain consistency. Of course, having a top-class manager and brilliant players is imperative, but none of that works without structures. None of it works on a consistent basis. You will get beat by Pep City. You will get beat by Liverpool, Klopp's Liverpool to the titles if you don't have that. It's key. We're going to go to your calls now, though, people. And I need that like button to be smashed. Let's get this past 250 likes while we're live, please. Any super chats that you put in, let me know. We're going to go to some member comments as well here. They have to give him 3 years at least for structural changes. They do. But then when they move on from Ten Hag, whether he's successful or not, they have to keep the structure and the style of manager relatively the same. We can't be going from a Ten Hag to a Simeone, and that is what I mean by foundation. You're absolutely spot on. I've been saying get a striker, a hitman like Benzema or Haaland. We need goals. Listen, we do need goals at Man United, and the striker is going to be key. There's no doubt. Ten Hag would help United's mess. Most are saying even 20 wouldn't be enough. I think you mean 20 years, or I don't quite know what you mean there, but thank you. Terry, are you asking for change to change the Glazers' business plan? Yes. Listen, clever people I could sell this to them. Give me 5 months. No, not even 5 months. Give me 2 months working inside Manchester United, full access to everything, plans, how they want to make their money, etc. And I could help formulate a plan that means we're successful on the pitch, but we generate more money for them. This is the crazy thing. We need a clever person that can sell to the Glazers, that do it our way, and not only will we win you trophies, and we'll make you even more money. The great thing about money-hungry people is they're easy to motivate. Just show them a way of making more money. It's really not hard. It's really not hard. It really isn't. Facts, if you don't have that structure, they will fail. They will. And what you'll find from the eye test merchants and the Ollie Outers is they'll just talk about the Ollie Pouters, they'll just talk about how it's a class manager that's done it. They'll ignore all the real issues. Ten Hag needs to get rid of the 11 Hags on the pitch first. The 11 Hags. I don't know what you mean. I don't kind of get that. Maybe I'm missing the joke. Maybe I'm too old. I don't know. Ten Hag is an attacking-minded manager. Can't wait to see his style and players at Old Trafford will be excellent and exciting to see. It absolutely will, my friend. It's going to be very, very exciting to see. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Looking forward to seeing Jimmy Garner playing next season. And those are the little things. You've got the Jimmy Garners, you've got the Hannibals, you've got the Igbals, these very young, talented individuals in the academies. And equally, we want to buy a new fullback. But there is Ethan Laird, there's Fernandez, there's a number of very young, talented players in our academy where if we get the midfield, this is what's crazy. If we get like a quality midfield in this summer, bring in a new established striker, rejuvenate one or two of the players that look a little bit lost, and you've got this really good, strong core, you can throw in a couple more academy players. The problem now, you throw academy players now into this mess, you'll burn them. You'll burn them because we're not conducive with letting young players flourish because our older statesmen are gone mentally. Does anything really change with Ten Hag coming in? Well, you know, it's a great question. You have to look at what's being said. You have to look at what's being reported. You have to look at what people are talking about here. And this is very much what they're telling us is that these internal things are going to change. Michael Edwards, the previous Liverpool DOF, I think that was his role there, he might have had a different title, is being looked at for the deputy DOF role at Man United. And I spoke to a few people this morning about it being a deputy role, and people are, it sounds too junior. Listen, if you're earning, I'm not talking about director of football day or more, if you're earning £50,000 a year in a senior manager's job in company A, but I own company B, and I say, listen, I've got a deputy manager role that I'd love you to come in and fill. Your responsibilities will be exactly the same as where you are now, but we'll pay you £75,000 a year. You have the same level of control, same level of input, same level of authority over your subordinates. But the role is just a deputy role because there is somebody you report into who then reports directly into the board. Are you interested? Most people would say yes. In the footballing world, whether it's a deputy DOF, a sporting director, footballing director, a director of football. What's the difference? If you're doing the same job, you're doing the same job. You're getting paid right, you're getting paid right. So those are the internal structures that we need to change, there's no doubt. We're going to go to some calls in a few moments. A few people backstage. Shrey's backstage. Vanash is backstage as well. The board don't know how to get 5 out, 5 in. And you're right, Dad Sweet. The board do not know how to do that. The board have got no history of doing that. Myrtle, Fletcher, new DOF, Ralph helping them with the team that Ten Hag brings in. It's different. And this is what I would say to people. If we do that in the summer, that's a bigger indication than the style of football we play in the opening day of the season that we're moving forward. If we change how we operate, if we change how we do business, speed of execution. And by the way, last summer, up until the Ronaldo deal that hasn't worked, the speed of execution and the way we behave was very good. There were changes last year. We just kind of undone it on the last day of the transfer window. We all didn't think we did. I thought it was going to be a good sign-in. We're all in the mud with it. Not everyone did, but I did. Terrible in the end. Terry, is Ten Hag coming this season or next? It'll be next season. He won't be managing United this year. He won't be managing United this season at all. Facts, Terry, we need an aggressive midfield and Ten Hag is the man to do this. But my worry is the board's incompetence creeping back in after a season or two. And you know what, my friend? You are absolutely spot on to worry about this. You are correct to worry about this. And it's something that you should be. That's where the foot on the neck cannot come off. We have to demand. Don't just get Ten Hag and Anthony and Timber and sign Kane and sign Declan Rice and go, oh my God, we're away. Don't be fooled by the bells and the whistles. Look at the structure beneath it. Demand more. Demand more from this football club. That's what we need to do. Right, Shrey's coming on to have his say with me now. The link. Oh, I did share the link, but I didn't pin the damn link. Let me just let me share it again. I thought there'd be more callers to chat about this. I didn't pin the damn link. I'm very sorry. Feel free to call in. I want to hear from you. Shrey's on the line now with us. Let's do this.
Hey, Terry.
How you doing, Shrey? Welcome back to the show. Give me your thoughts on Man United almost announcing now Ten Hag and the kind of plans we've got for the summer at the club.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, bro. I can hear you. Go for it.
Okay. So first thing is Ten Hag, I believe, is a good appointment. Only thing is the board again is going to mess it up because the Glazers have been there for 9 years and they haven't changed for 9 years. What I don't understand what's going to make them change now. All of a sudden, it's not like they get a epiphany. Oh, okay, let's do this. So I just think it's a matter of having the structure around him, like you said. Now even at the board, I'm not sure how much power Ralph really has because he's there as a consultant. Now, if Ralph's value is only seen in the board, if Fletcher and Myrtle actually listen to him. So if they don't, they just tune him out. So then it adds no value to to have Ralph there. That is the only main concern. And another thing that people I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but I believe, this is my gut feel, and I could be horribly wrong on this, that if Ten Hag comes in, I believe Ronaldo will be gone by the end of this by next season, because I believe if because Ten Hag plays a very similar attacking fashion, defend from the front type of football, and Ronaldo at his age, I don't think he'll have the same impact if he focuses solely on defending from the front. He won't be as effective going forward. So I think that is where he'll have to look at his options.
And Shrey, listen, I appreciate the call and you coming on. I think you're absolutely spot on about Ronaldo. There is definitely the fact that he could be on his way out. But for me, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I put my club over any player always. My guy, thank you very much for coming on, mate, and having your say. I'll speak to you soon. Top man, Shrey, thank you. And that is key. Like, if you're a Man United fan and you're worried about your favorite player not surviving, you're not a Man United fan. I'm going to be so blunt these days. I'm sick and tired of like trying to make everybody feel good. If you're putting a player over the club, you don't support Man United. Not as a first priority. It's as simple as that. Ronaldo, Bruno, Rashford, Pogba, Martial, Donny. I'd love them all to kill it. But I don't care about any of them more than I care about my club. And I saw somebody say that Manchester United are they're never gonna let Ten Hag. Here it is, Terry. You were dreaming. This board won't let Ten Hag run the team. Of course, that could happen. And do you know what? Do you know what's key? And I love the fact that somebody's brought that up, because This could be the most pivotal moment in Man United's post-Fergie history. I think 95%, and the remaining 5% I've never seen, trust in the qualities of Ten Hag as a coach, Ten Hag as a manager, Ten Hag as a developer. We know what is needed to make a Ten Hag successful. I think if we mess this up, I think if player power is allowed to continue, I think if Ten Hag says Bruno's got to leave and the club say no, I think if he wants to get rid of, I'm just going to throw a name out there. He wants to get rid of Varane because he doesn't like something about the way Varane plays. I'm not saying he will, but I'm giving you a very big, I'll give you an even better example. If he says Sancho isn't that guy, the football club has to listen. That's if his team, the new deputy director of football, Myrtle and Fletcher all go, yeah, that's right. If the board go, we'll let you football minds make those decisions, then we are on the road to success. And I'm giving you the example of someone like Sancho because I think he's going to absolutely kill it in the Ten Hag system, by the way. But it shouldn't matter how good we all think an individual is. The football decision makers at the club have to be allowed to make football decisions. When we start doing that on a consistent basis, Man United will be back. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you we will be back. It's if we start pulling that rug from under the feet of the manager, that's when we're in trouble. And that is where football fans need to focus. Not on, I think this player is better than that player. Oh, I prefer this style. I prefer this formation. All that stuff is, for me, is first world issues that you focus on later. Have we restructured the club right is key. If we haven't, Fred Smith, then you're spot on. And we all know not to attack managers, not to attack players, systems, formations. It's all about going straight after that board. We're going to get Tyrone on to have his say in a few moments. KJ's backstage as well. By the way, we've got a really good show coming up for you later on today, around 5 o'clock. We've got a good panel as well. Neeks will be there. KJ will be there. Sunshine will be there. Oh My Dizzy will be there. And Man Like Johnny will be there. We are going to be ranking and tiering the players that will stay and the players that will go under Erik Ten Hag. So that's going to be at 5 o'clock. So make sure all of you are back. It's going to be an epic show debating who stays, who goes, and taking a look at some of the new signings that we may be bringing in. Only on the Football Terrace. But Tyrone's here now. What are you saying, brother?
Hi, Terry. You good?
I'm very well, my friend. What's on your mind?
Well, I've been hearing reports about the backroom staff Erik Ten Hag's bringing in. I think that's more important than the transfers itself, to be honest, because the good backroom staff, then the recruitment will follow with it. I heard a lot about Rennie Mullenstein coming back in, who obviously was at the club under Ferguson and left when Moyes came in. I think that's so important because he knows the club, and obviously there's the reports of bringing a Dutch coach who knows Man United. And I think it's different in terms of people saying it's like a job for the boys, because I think Rennie Mullenstein is a world-class elite coach. Maybe not a manager, but he's a world-class elite coach. I think bringing someone in with Ten Hag, with that experience of Man United, knows how the operations run, as well as Ten Hag's number two himself. It's so important because obviously he developed players like Ronaldo when he was there. And the recruitment side of things, I think that's going to be the most important thing, getting Man United back, is getting the people in with Ten Hag who know what it takes to build a club under Ragnick, under Fletcher, under Murtaugh. And yeah, I don't know what you think about that. I know it's not really been spoken about in the reports as much as it would be with the RVP reports. But I think Rennie Mullenstein is a better fit in terms of bringing him in.
Mate, look, Rennie Mullenstein, do you know what's really interesting? It's a great call, great point being raised. One of the biggest mistakes we made at this club is when we appointed David Moyes, the club allowed David Moyes to get rid of everybody connected to Fergie. And it was the biggest mistake we have in any kind of walk of life. If you go through history where there has been, whether you look at businesses that have been taken over and merged by others, when you look at, some real motive stuff where there's been like mass conversion of religion, they maintain big and large elements or important moments from the previous regime. The reason that Christmas is on the 25th of December, just research why Christmas is on the 25th of December. You do these things. This is the reason I bring that up as an example is this is how the human mind has worked for thousands of years and probably always. You suddenly change everything, it can create chaos. What Moyes should have been made to do is over the course of time, he should have been able to bring his own team in. But it's like, right, we're going to keep some continuity. We're going to keep some familiarity. We're going to keep people that have been here and been winning, and slowly you can integrate your team into that. This move is key for me around, I think Ten Hag will want, there's that Dutch connection there for him to feel familiar, someone who knows the club. And Rene Mullenstein, he's a brilliant coach. I know he tried to make it as a manager and he didn't do a great job, but he's a brilliant coach. So I think him, obviously Van Persie's been linked. There's talk of Steve McLaren, who again, I don't think McLaren was a very good manager, but he was a world-class assistant manager. He's got knowledge of the Dutch league. He obviously knows Ten Hag quite well. I've read reports. So I'm quite encouraged by that. And the structure behind the scenes is almost every bit as important as what Manchester United do on the who they buy and on the field. I think you're absolutely spot on, mate. If what's your thoughts? If we get the right new DOF in, give Ten Hag the team around him that he wants, we put the football decisions back with the football people. How long do you think it will take for Man United to start to be successful again?
I don't think it's going to be a quick fix. I think so much damage has been done, no matter how much the structure's changed. It's going to take, I think, 2 to 3 years to fix that. I mean, anything, if you relate it to life, if you've got, for example, depression or mental health, it's going to take a long road to get back to where you were. And I think maybe you might see, like you said before, Ten Hag style of football in the first 10 to 15 games of next season. And people start looking at the eye test and seeing, oh, it looks pretty good. But the actual results in terms of trophies, I don't think that'll come until maybe the second or third season. I mean, look at Jurgen Klopp. I know it's a bit different, but he finished 8th in his first season. I don't know if it's 5th or I can't remember where he finished, but it took him 2 or 3 seasons to consistently get 4th, 3rd, 2nd. And I think because it's going to be a complete overhaul in terms of Man United. I think you've got to get the players out who, let's be frank, who don't really care, who are there for the Man United show. Yeah. But I think it is going to take 2 or 3 seasons, and I think fans have got to be patient. And I think the easier thing with Ten Hag is that his football will look better, and fans may be a bit more patient. And going back to that backroom staff thing, I think I don't know if you've seen the quotes. I may have to share them, but Steve McLaren, after we lost to Manchester City, he made some honest things saying we need to get players out who don't care, who aren't running. And I think he knows, Rene knows, and the most important thing is these aren't attractive names. And I think that says a lot for how Ten Hag has said to the board that I want this, I want that. And it's encouraging that if he does get appointed, that maybe they are finally listening to him.
Mate, I completely agree with everything that you've said. And again, I don't like to have a pop at them because it's not that kind of show. But eye test merchants are being taught serious lessons at the minute because everybody with all these managers and these people they talk about is I want this guy in, I want that guy in, I want this manager, I want this type of player, I want this type of coach, I want this type of system. When you listen to them speak, like so far, everything I've read about Ten Hag, it's all about structure, hard work, running, pressing, and aggression. And desire that goes with it. Of course, we like where the eye test merchants are right is of course we need technically proficient football players. So you can't do it with 11 Scott McTominays. We understand that. But if you don't have the determination and the hard work from the beginning, the technique doesn't matter. So it's almost this case of what you will maybe see in the earlier stages of Ten Hag is like you saw the early stages of Klopp. You'll see the style, but you'll still see games get away from us. You'll still see leads collapse. You'll still see times where it doesn't quite work because the overall quality isn't in the team. But if you build the ethos first and add quality to it, you create sustainable success. If you just throw loads of quality in and have no structure, in 18 months, you're back to where we are. That's what we've done every time. And that's what I want to see different. But Tyler, I'm going to keep you on the call. We're going to add KJ to it. We've got Mo to come on as well. We've got Vanesh to come on and join us as well. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being smashed here. Not enough of you are smashing that like button. Get your comments in as well. It's time for KJ to join us and Mo as well. Let's do it. Welcome back to the show, gents. Mo, how you doing, mate?
How's it going to mate? Long time, mate.
I know. I haven't done very many call-in shows as of late. You've been taking a bit of a break, but like, what's your thoughts on this? I know you've obviously been very angry and upset and disillusioned with the club. How are you feeling about all this news coming out?
It's a start. It's a start to fixing 10 years worth of problems. It's a start of this football club, some sort behaving like a football club and not just buying every single player. There's kind of a thought process to it. And, we have to be patient with this manager. We got to give him time. He's not gonna come in and start winning trophies and stuff like that. I'm being told it's a 3 to 5 year project. So we're gonna have to be patient, like Liverpool was with Klopp. He has to rebuild his team. But for the first time, we've got a manager that's going to play a nice brand of football. I just want to see good football. Don't care about the trophies. I just want to see good, entertaining football, and then the rest will come, Terry. The rest will come.
I hear you on that. How about yourself, KJ? Because I know you're also someone that has been kind of, this club's not really representing me. I've not been happy with the way they've been behaving. Like, what's your feelings with all this news that's coming out today?
It sounds nice, but my trust is gone. Like, I'm gonna be honest, my trust is gone. So this is all well and good and pretty, but we need to see proof. We need to see visible, actual, tangible proof that this is not just going to be another false dawn, another false horizon. Like we've seen this for the last nine to 10 years. So I'm happy with the appointment of Ten Hag. I feel like he's a good manager, a very good manager who's got the pedigree to go on and to be better than he already is. Like, again, he might win the double this year. He's already won two Dutch leagues. He's already won the cup there as well. So Champions League semi-final with a very young team. So he's got the credentials, I think, to go on and become something great. But are we going to give him the environment to do that? I hear we're also looking at getting another DOF as an assistant or sporting director, whatever you want to label it. We're looking like we're going to do that. How does that all work with Ten Hag? I am yet to be seen. I don't know what's going on in that kind of sphere. So I'm just going to take my time with it. I'm not overly gassed. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, we're back. I know people want me to say that. I'm not going to be like, oh no, this means we're down in the pits again. Like it's over. Like it's all right. Let me see what these guys do. They need to earn my trust back before I can believe anything they say or do. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do on the pitch, because his football is better than what we have now. I'm interested to see what kind of players he wants to bring in, what players he wants out. So it's all this, again, it's going to be a process. And my question will be, are Man United fans ready for this process? Because you've already got fans already saying, if you don't win a trophy within the first season, you don't want him gone. You've already got fans.
Really?
Yep. People are saying that. People are saying that he's already a puppet. Like, he hasn't even got here, and people are already calling him a puppet as well. So, like, are we actually ready for this? Are we, when the season goes by and we finish, I don't know, 8th, 7th, 6th, are we willing to be like, all right, cool, let's go again, let's build again for the next season to try and get a better position? Are we willing to accept that, Champions League may not be obtainable the first season? Champions League we might miss out of it on the second season. Like, what are we willing to go through? And again, my thing's it's not going to be on the players, it's not going to be on the manager, it's going to be on the football club. So how are you making the environment so these guys can succeed and be successful? So right now, just really need to take our time, need to relax and not get sucked into all of this noise. Be happy, but not be over the top with it.
Yeah, I think I just Google search like the word Ten Hag on puppet, and I'm seeing it's a lot of the Love United, hate Glazer, sort of those types of fans. And you've got to remember about this is what I would say about the Mikes of this world and the Love United, hate Glazer people. It doesn't matter what we do, they're negative. Sometimes the subjects they're negative about, they're negative about a subject that lots of people agree with. So when Ollie was done, their negativity towards him mattered. But they're only going after Ten Hag because he's the guy that's going to... These accounts, if you actually go back and look at them, some of these accounts are 10 years old. Everything United do, they're negative about. So they just wait for the decision to be made, and then they become negative about that decision because they just want to... I honestly believe, if you actually scrape beneath the surface, 90% of those people don't support United. It's a social media thing. There'll be City fans, Chelsea, Arsenal fans that are like pretending, and they're just continually saying negative things. If we were going for Poch would be looked at as the puppet, and it'd be like, why haven't we got Ten Hag? Whatever we do as a club, they want the complete opposite. You'll get a certain percentage of YouTubers and content creators that will already be sitting down today. They will already be sitting down today going, right, how can we keep the negative trend going? Because there are lots of people, their only commodity is to be negative. Their only commodity is to be disrespectful. And what they cater towards in the early stages are the non-Man United fans who may come across their content, because it's funny if you're a Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, City fan to see Man United fans slagging off their club. When it gets to a point where Ollie is, as you say, he's gone, and there's no, and we all want him out now because we know he's gone to the end of his tether. We all kind of agree with it, and those people bask in that kind of glory and can say, "Well, I was always right." But if you actually do some research, they're negative about 90% of things. So if you're negative about everything, you are right at some point. Like a broken clock is right twice a day, and you will start to see this very early on from certain people on Twitter, certain journalists, certain content creators. There will just be this underlying like push towards negativity straight away, and a lot of it will stem around the players in our current squad that they keep and move on. So, for instance, they'll keep themselves in the middle right now. So, a certain group will be like, right, if he backs Donny and Martial and tries to keep Pogba, I'm on his side. If he doesn't, and I see him even for one game pick Rashford or for one game pick McTominay, he's dead to me. I already know what's going on in their heads. I've been in this game too long now, and I can already see it. So I'm going to be ignoring those people for a while because they are negative irrespective. They're always looking for the negative angle to create controversy instead of just... And that's what's gone wrong with the social media element of things. I look at AFTV as an example. Do you know why the likes of Claude and Troops and so forth were so popular when they first came on and were angry? Because it was real. What's kind of happened from that point is people now just stay in this negative lane. Every day they're negative. Every day. I mean, I've seen in this last week the Ollie out, Ollie in debate come back. Why? Well, because they've got nothing else to talk about. Because if they're not angry and shouting, no one's listening to them. Honestly, it's infuriating to see. It really is.
No, yeah. I mean, sorry, do you want to go?
No, you go, my friend.
I mean, you speak about Rashford there. When you imagine the uproar if he starts to pick Marcus Rashford again and the form dips. I mean, I've seen people this week say Rashford's underperforming. He's playing on the right hand side. I love Marcus Rashford, but no matter how to play at this level, you need to be adaptable. And you see Jadon Sancho, he can play both sides. Potentially, if Anthony comes in, I've seen him play both sides. I know he's left-footed. I think he can play both sides. Mm-hmm. Marcus Rashford is a brilliant player, and I think he's got world-class form in him. But can you imagine if he comes in like Ralph did when he started picking Fred and McTominay quite a bit after people would say he wouldn't? Can you imagine if he comes in and Marcus Rashford is a stalwart in the side? I think that's just going to create a lot more toxicity on social media because people have got an agenda against Marcus Rashford, and it's just going to be toxic from the off.
It's not just Rashford. If Maguire's starting still, if McTominay is starting still, if Aaron Wan-Bissaka magically, I forgot this guy played for us. If Aaron Wan-Bissaka magically comes out of the shed and he comes back starting, is all hell is going to break loose. People need to stop. People need to stop saying, "Oh, now it's time for I can't wait because now my player I don't like is finally gone." No, wait. Stop getting your hopes up for these things and just wait to see what the manager's trying to do. Because if Ten Hag comes in and he's got a certain plan for Scott McTominay and it works, we shouldn't be upset. If you're really on this whole wave of I'm going to back the manager because I've seen what happened before, whatever he does with Scott, even if we all don't agree with it, we have to wait and see why he's doing that thing.
Yeah,
man.
And this is key. So you were gonna say something, Bo?
Yeah, just one other thing. I've seen this guy play football, Ten Hag, his teams, and I'm not gonna lie. Some of these players are gonna struggle to play that type of technical football, man. It's gonna be very difficult, and that's not a dig at the players. Some of them are just not good enough to play that kind of brand of football. It's high possession. It's rapid. It's quick. Some players are going to struggle, Terry, and some of them are eventually gonna get phased out of the team because,
of course,
the type of football this guy plays, you got to be very good technically on the ball,
mate. And you are right. And again, as I say, but I don't care who those players that we phase out are. I don't care if it's McTominay or if we become successful with McTominay in our team and Bruno gets dropped. I don't care. If it's the other way around, I don't care. If they both go, we sign 2 new players. I don't care. But what you'll find with certain United fans, especially some content creators, instantly it will be, because this is what happened with Ragnick. The thought was with Ragnick, Donny's going to play, Martial's going to play, Bay will be back in the team. No more this, no more that. They were all like, yeah, my baby boy Delo is going to come in. He's going to show that he is Trent levels. And all these eye test merchants were in the bin. They're in the bin. Now, it doesn't mean, by the way, what's playing isn't good enough. But they're never focused on the club. It's always focused on They're children. It's like seeing a 3-year-old stamping their feet in a supermarket because mummy said, no, you can't have another pack of sweets. That's what they are. It's, I didn't get what I want. I didn't get the manager or the signing, or my favorite player isn't being picked. Therefore, I'm going to scream and cry about it. And they go on the internet, and we all know that social media is about, like Twitter is a very negative place. I was talking to Lies last night. Lies put a tweet out not long ago. Something about like not really liking baked beans or not really understanding why Brits eat them. It's innocent and funny. He was like, the aggression that people gave him because they were like offended that he didn't like baked beans. That shows you how childish and people let all the negative come out on Twitter.
People are coming after the beautiful babes that is Paula Patton of the chicken, bro. Like, it's just.
I mean, I listen, and I looked at it, and I did find that video funny because I was like, yeah, you're not really washing the chicken right. And then it was more that the seasoning while it was in the oil. It's all true. It was crazy, right? But it's sort of like, I saw lots of people laughing and joking about it, but the amount of people that I saw writing really nasty things, I'm like, I feel so sad for you. We've got a super chat here from Micah that says, Arsenal fan here. This is a top appointment by United, especially if you keep Ragnick and get Mitchell. Patience needed, though. Chelsea go through still. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Chelsea could go through still. I think that they're not out. That we'll definitely do some content on that later today. And look, it is a top appointment managerial wise. And what I'm excited about is this, though. I do feel like this squad of Man United players hasn't had a proper coach. We had a past at Jose that wasn't interested in developing people. We had Oli who tried, but just wasn't good enough. I'm very intrigued to see and this is one thing I'd say, not to challenge you overtly, Mo, but what I'm intrigued to see is how much more a manager like him can get out of these players. And the reason I say that is this. There's a fan theory, which I think is wrong. And the fan theory is that Man United just hire people that City are interested in, but City almost want them to make us go for them. That's never real, but I get why people say it. So Pep
Terry, can I have one point?
Go on, mate, go on.
Yeah, and also with this manager coming in, we got a great youth squad. So we've got Zidane Iqbal, we've got Jimmy Garner, we've got Hannibal, Savage. So I want to see what he does with the youth and hopefully implement them in as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. The point I'm making is that Fred and Maguire were wanted by Pep. AWB was wanted by people like Poch. Go back and look at the stories about Bruno Fernandes from 2017 till we signed him. Poch wanted him. Man City were after him. Klopp, big fan of him. There's lots of players that we've signed who other managers that we rate as top class wanted or were interested in. Were they all wrong as well? Maybe they would have been duds for their clubs as well. But I'm still intrigued to see what a top-level coach, forget him as a manager for a minute, a top-level coach and his system can do. Because one of the things I would say is this. If the more technical ballers like Martial and Pogba and Donny have failed because of a lack of coaching and a lack of system, surely it's worse for the less technical players. Or is my logic off? I don't know. Like if there's no system, no style, no coaching, it must be harder for Rashford, who's got 1/10 of the ability, according to some people, as Martial. But then if Martial's also looks shit in that same system, it's got to be the system and the coaching, right? But maybe that's just me being too kind. We're going to add some more callers in now. Vanish is here with us. You've been waiting a while. What are you saying, mate? You're muted, my friend. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, I just want to say that Ten Hag is an exciting appointment for the managerial role, but I think it will take time. We need patience as fans. You know, the mess that has been created in the past 10 years, it will take time. And I don't think it's just the managerial role or we are lacking the manager. I think there are thousands other problems at the club right now. And I just think that Ten Hag can work and is one for the future for us. But I think it's the amount of power that will be given to him by the board, actually. Because I think if we're not letting him control the players that are starting for the club or the transfers that you're bringing in or, moving out, then there's no point of bringing anyone in the club right now. I think you have to back the manager. It will take time. It will take 2 to 3 windows to give them a player that he actually wants. Because we brought in Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane last summer, and we all fans wanted them. But there has to be some idea or thought process to how to play them. Jadon Sancho recently has been playing because he works well in closed spaces in one-touch football. Up till I think January, we didn't do that with Jadon Sancho. Rafael Varane has been injured a lot of times, so I think Ten Hag is an exciting appointment, but it's just about how we back him. by the board.
Yeah, great call, my friend, and great points being raised there. Really appreciate that. Top man, thank you very much indeed. I think you make some
Thank you
great
so
points
much.
there. Thank
Cheers.
you very
See you soon.
much. Trust Red Devils is with us now. What are you saying, mate?
Keep Martial's name out of your mouth. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Russell,
I'm
man.
kidding. I'm kidding. Relax yourselves. Bloody hell. Calm down, but we don't have a lot of good things going on for us as United fans. Just thought I'd throw that in. Yeah, man, it's looking good. It's looking good with the whole Ten Hag thing, but yet again, it's the head of the snake that I'm worried about, not the body itself. You know, the head of the snake is still there. So we keep moving, and I think it has to come to a point where we just accept that these are the owners that we have. They're probably not going to sell. They're making a lot of profit, and we'll probably have them for a long time. So we judge the players and the employees based on their achievements. And Ten Hag has a big job ahead of him. He's got a massive job because, like Ragnik was saying, there's some players who are tactical and some players, very few players who are physical. Well, Ten Hag will be smiling at that. You know, that's what he wants to hear. Weirdly enough, Ragnik probably wants the opposite. I find that interesting. So, yeah, in terms of Ten Hag coming in and the player profile that we have, I think it works. But I'm worried about the fans because how long do they give him? Really, these United fans, how long do we actually give him? We can sit here and discuss and say, oh yeah, we give him a year, but I've been on the terrace a few times, guys. How long do we actually give managers before we start throwing them under the bus?
It all depends on the individual. Like I personally get to give them a fair bit of time, but I do hear you on that. There's definitely a challenge that got to be made. I've got a comment here I want to read out. It says, "Stop lying, Terry, because no top club wanted brainless Bruno. No top club there. Fabrizio Romano, Man City close in on £47 million sporting Lisbon midfielder. They're in the Guardian in May 2019. Stop lying to yourselves. This is the point I'm making. This is the issue with a lot of football fans. There's a lot of jabbering, a lot of talking, but zero knowledge, zero research, zero brain being used. You have a brain because you type those words out. But Man City were chasing him. That's from Fabrizio Romano in 2019 in a Guardian article. And there, if you just Google Man City to sign Bruno and look there, you've been absolutely schooled, my friend, absolutely destroyed. I suggest you go home now and you get on your mum's breast and you suckle away, my friend, because that's all you're worth right now because you've just done yourself. You've regressed physically and mentally after embarrassing yourself like that, my friend, because you're wrong. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Also, just to add to that, if you watch an interview with Bruno, I think it was an MUTV, he said the summer before the January he signed United, I think he was almost in complete agreement with Tottenham as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think was it Mourinho at the time? I don't know. I can't remember who was the manager.
No, Spurs did want him.
It was Poch. Yeah, it was Pochettino. Well.
Yeah. Just a point to add about how long do we give Ten Hag? I mean, we gave Oli 3 years and 400 or 500 million pounds. I'm sure we can give a man 4 or 5 years. I mean, we gave Oli 3 years.
Yeah, but more, we didn't really give him 3 years because after 2 years already, his head was on the line. Everyone was talking about how he needs to go. Well, I don't want to mention names. Yeah, but big influencers like Sahih were very popular.
You know, I would say, but they're not yeah, but those influencers are not here, so there's no point us talking about them unless you want to name drop them. Just leave it. But the point is, what I would say is this is where fans have to be smart this time. If we don't think it's the manager's fault because the club haven't given him what he wants, they're making him keep players that shouldn't be here, blah, blah, blah. We have a platform to push the real truth and the real story. It's about being strong in yourselves. And I think that's what's key here more than anything else. That's what's key more than anything is what we say and what we do. And I think with Oli, if we keep the structure how we're looking to plant and build it and give Ten Hag the same money Oli got, and we give him 3 years of coaching and nurturing, and we put football decisions before commercial, we're fine. But even look at what we did to Oli this year. Signing Ronaldo and not a top-class DM, most people believe, now looking back, was essentially throwing him under the bus. In the same ways we did with Jose, in the same way we did LVG. It wasn't what the team, squad, or anybody needed. It was a commercial decision over footballing. If we do that to Ten Hag, he will fail. But what I hope for this time is that football fans use their brain And instead of Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out, it's let's go and protest the Glazers again. Let's all rip up our season tickets. You know, even the influencers that go to games, if you really love the club and this happens again, how can you warrant spending money on the club and going to games? Do your streaming from home. Do your fan cams via digital. Like, you don't need to go and give them money. Like, don't be on your YouTube channels doing kit reviews, promoting the brand of the club. Don't be working with the sponsors of the club to get access. Whoever, get my, like, you're fine business-wise. Do what you want in life. But my hope this time is that if it goes wrong because of bad decisions internally, that the fans come together and focus on the problem and not the low-hanging fruit, which is always the manager first, then it's some players, and then maybe, just maybe, if the Glazers do something crazy like a Super League, we go and have a protest, which 80% of the people turned up for a day out on Instagram. That was it. They didn't really care. They didn't really care. Go on, mate.
No, you go, Terry.
I was going to do a super chat actually from Micah that says this is actually a positive thing. It says Pep, Klopp, Tuchel, Conte, Ten Hag in one league. That is something to be excited about, right? There is excitement in that.
Wait, listen, you can't forget Arteta in there.
No, sorry, you're right.
But no, I was about to ask. We'll probably touch on this in the show later tonight about the players and stuff. But I think there's one probably massive question about a player, and that's just due to what he has, which is the captaincy, which is Harry Maguire. Does Ten Hag come in and strip the captaincy off him and give it to someone else? And if he doesn't do that, if he keeps Maguire as captain, how do we view Ten Hag? Do we have to be patient with him still and be like, yeah, okay, maybe see something in Maguire that we don't? Or is it one of those ones where like he's just in terms of like winning the fans over completely, he's just taking a step backwards if he does that?
Can I get that, son?
I don't think he takes it off him, you know.
Can I get it? Okay, go on.
Sorry, I don't think he takes it off him, you know. I think he keeps the captaincy. Like I said, I think it's going to be a phase-out job. I think it might take a season or something to get rid of Maguire, another season to get rid of Maguire, because, like I said earlier, it's going to take a long time to get everyone out who we need to get out, because it sounds like defenders this summer aren't the main priority. It sounds like it's midfielders and it's attackers who we're going to be getting. So if we do get like that timber from Ajax, I still think we're going to keep Maguire, because we're still quite short in defensive areas. I don't see him taking the captaincy off him straight away, which some fans may have an issue with. Obviously, I don't want him as captain, but it is what it is. And if you look at the people on social media who do tend to speak about this, who do tend to be reactionary, they are of a certain age. It tends to be the FIFA generation who think one thing can solve the club. But I think Maguire keeps it for the majority of next season. And I think maybe the season after, when we've got maybe a bit more of a different squad, then you may see that different captaincy. It might tend to pass on then.
It's going to be an interesting call. I know for sure that...
I also...
Go on, Mo.
No, you go for it. Now, I also think like we got to be patient with Ten Hag, because do you remember when Ralph Rangnick was appointed and everyone thought, the whole fan base thought, oh, he's going to come in and Scott McTominay and Fred's not going to play and Don is going to play and all this stuff, and it wasn't. Fred and McTominay are still playing, and Ten Hag could come in and thought, you know what, I'm going to keep Maguire as my captain. I like what I see. I don't know what he sees, but he might think I like what I see around the changing room and on the pitch.
Yeah. Mate, you're right, though. You're right, Mo. And do you know what's crazy about it, brother? You've got to look at it from the point of view of one of the issues with Man United structure is that we don't get back into shape quick enough when we lose possession. Our defenders, love or loathe them, are always so exposed. Just watch how quickly Man City, Liverpool get back into shape. Tuchel himself last night was talking about if we play that way against Madrid at the Bernabeu, we're going to get destroyed. He openly said, I couldn't understand the space. We weren't getting back into position. We were allowing them to run through us. That's happened 2 games running for Chelsea, and they've conceded 7 goals. Suddenly, Rudiger and Thiago Silva, who have been spoken about as 2 of the best centre-backs in the world, have conceded 7 goals in 2 games, making mistakes, getting caught out of position. Why? Because the structure in front of them is gone. If Liverpool's midfield didn't work hard enough to get back into position, Liverpool's backline would get exposed. Now, as individual defenders, they'd win some of the one-on-one battles. But if you keep exposing a backline and you're open and there's room to run into, defenders can't do very much. And that isn't a defense of Maguire. But when you're being pulled from pillar to post every 5 minutes, look how bad Varane has looked in a large amount of games since he's been here as well. It's almost a case of I'm more intrigued to see how all these players look in a proper coached system with a structure.
Yes.
Then maybe for a year or so, you will see someone like Maguire be able to do a good job for us. There may still be the long-term desires to move him on, but we see it in the England team with a proper structure. I don't know, it's 3 at the back, but maybe that's what Ten Hag goes with. Who knows? No one really knows. I know they have set formations, but things change. Maybe that's what it decides to do, because you know what we're going to do year one is play with 3 at the back because I don't have the centre-backs to play a different way. That could be his choice, and it protects things. So I'm just going to be relaxed and wait to see the fruits of that labour, as opposed to first starting lineup comes out. Fuck this! I'm Ten Hag out because Maguire's captain. This is a fucking disgrace. He doesn't know what he's doing. I can't do that again. Like I want to be positive about some things at my football club.
I think fans should stop with the name. Sorry, KJ, go on. Sorry.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say one sentence. It's a classic. Stop with the names on the back of the shirt. Focus on the bodies that are working for the crest in front of the shirt. It sounds so cliche, but that's all it is. You know, we talk about Fred and McTominay, and as much as I don't like that kind of play, I have to admit these are international players for elite team. Fred starts for Brazil. McTominay starts for Scotland. Maguire starts for England. Pogba starts for France. All these players who, for some reason, we question their ability or we question their professionalism. They're starting players for national teams. There is something within them to be exposed there. Yeah.
And on top of that, we all do the same thing with a lot of those. We don't say it about the players we dislike, but we all say, Fred's brilliant for Brazil. Looks great for Brazil, but not United. We say that about nearly every... Dan James in the summer, we were like, look how good he looks for Wales. Look how good he looks for... Why can't he ball for United? Maybe there's something in that, dullards. Maybe there's... I would love to see AWB... I don't know if he has officially converted or changed...
No, he hasn't.
Football nationalities. I'd love to go and see him play for another club or internationally and see how good or how bad he looks. Because if he goes away and starts looking good, you're like, oh shit. Like even Luke Shaw for England's normally pretty damn good. I don't know. Maybe
I'll throw in a chinks there. AWB for Atletico Madrid would be amazing because that's all they do, right?
Yeah, true.
Simeone would love him.
Horses for courses. We all know appointments not working with new managers. We all know appointments not working with managers coming to a new league and club. What is the possibility of this happening with Ten Hag? Can it be a difference maker? Well, look, what I would say is this, my bro. It wouldn't be a difference maker this time because you're an Arsenal fan. Arsene Wenger, he had no Premier League experience. Pep Guardiola had no Premier League experience. Conte had no Premier League experience. Fergie had no English top flight experience. Conte had no experience. Who else? Klopp had no experience.
I think Ancelotti
had no experience.
In the last few managers who have won the league, I think the only one that did it with previous Premier League experience was Jose, and that's because he came back.
Yeah, but Jose came in and had no experience. The only one who's not won it first time round and then won it later was Ranieri. Ranieri is the only manager who's come in without Prem experience and not won it, and then gone to another club and won it. No manager that's ever won the Premier League, barring Dalglish, has managed at the top flight of English football before they've won the Premier League.
Yeah,
it can go wrong. Of course it can. There's been loads of managers that have come to the Prem and failed, but it can definitely go wrong. You're right, but it's just not something I'm going to focus on because
this Prem experience thing is foolishness because it's kind of like with jobs. Oh, we want someone who's experienced, but if you give me the job, I'll gain that experience. You know what I mean? So Ten Hag will gain Premier League experience when he's in the Premier League. Doesn't matter what club it is, he will gain that experience.
I agree. Gal's joined us. What are you saying, Gal?
I'm good, Terry. Oh, what is that background noise? Sorry.
That was your voice, mate.
That was not me. Hi. Anyways, I really do think it's a good signing. If it is true that the links and everything is true that he's almost guaranteed that he's going to be coming in, I'm thinking this could be the first step to you guys changing the way that you guys operate. If you're bringing in a manager like this and you already have Fragnick coming up and you're already hearing about lining up transfers for the upcoming window, it is a very good time for you guys as Manchester United fans, as rivals. I would be more concerned if I see that you guys fully back him, as you said, Terry, numerous occasions, and as you said, KJ, numerous occasions, because the moment where things become undone is when other people start taking control. And Rio Ferdinand recently spoke earlier today. I seen a quote where he was saying, not Arsenal are the model, but the way that Arsenal have more or less given Arteta free reign to get rid of who he wants and bring in whoever he wants. I think if you do a similar thing with Ten Hag, you'll be able to see instant success in your transfer and recruitment side of things.
No, I agree with
Yeah.
that point. I think that's a good point. That's a good point that
Yeah,
you guys made about.
Yeah, to be fair, like, I understand if rivals don't want to be shook or scared or whatever. Like, I get it, like, as well. Like, I know there's reservations about Ten Hag as a raw. How good is the Eredivisie compared to the Premier League? Really and truly, when you stack him up against Conte, Klopp, Tuchel, and Pep, if we're honest, he doesn't actually really come near them. Yes, he's got trophies for the Dutch league, but in terms of these guys have won Prems, so some of them won Champions Leagues. You know what I mean? Like,
Bundesliga.
He's closer
isn't
to Poch.
there yet.
He's
Yeah.
closer to Poch than he is those guys. Let's be honest. When it
Well,
comes
I think I think so. I think so. He's kind of. I look at it a little differently. I think Poch is ahead of him on experience, and I mean that in the sense, and I don't mean any disrespect to the Eredivisie, but Poch has managed in the Premier League. He's managed in France. He's managed in the Liga. So he's managed in 2 of the top 3 leagues in Europe. And he's now managing PSG, the pressures that come with that. So Poch has been at bigger clubs on a contemporary sense. Ajax's history flattens PSG, flattens Tottenham. I'm not even comparing the clubs' histories. I'm just talking in the contemporary sense. Ajax aren't what they were in the 90s because of money and so forth. But Ten Hag, for me, what United fans have been asking for players like this for a long time. I want to sign the next Harry Kane before anyone knows he's Harry Kane. I want to sign the next KDB before anyone knows who KDB is. Does that make sense? And I think Ten Hag, we obviously know him, but I think Ten Hag is that he's what Klopp was 10 years ago. He's what Pep was. Pep kind of burst onto the scene. Pep and Zidane are hard examples because they walk straight into teams. But the Tuchels and the Klopps and everybody else, I feel like we're getting one of those guys early. We're getting him before he's done his major. I'm hoping that he's back-to-back league titles in a major league is with Man United. I'm hoping his first Champions League is with Manchester United. He's got the ability to get to that level. One of the good reasons for getting him as well now is that he's on Man City's shortlist to replace Pep Guardiola. And us getting him now almost makes it a certainty that Liverpool and City don't get him in the future. If we miss out on him now and go for Poch, I think he will be a better manager and have a better career than Poch, in my personal opinion. If he goes to Juve for a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years, and does well, and then I'd be so fearful that he could end up at City or Liverpool in the future. At least one of the reasons why I was so gutted we didn't go for Jurgen Klopp and or Pep when Fergie retired was, but they could end up at a rival. Sometimes it's almost a case of, if we'd have signed Klopp, he would never have been able to go to Liverpool. If we'd have got Pep, he never would have been able to go to City, because that very rarely happens, right? Where a manager will manage both 2 of those clubs. So I just feel like it's a good appointment now, a good appointment for the future. But it also stops one of our 2 of our major rivals from, in my opinion, from ever getting him. And that's also a really good strategy, because he could be ridiculously good, Ten Hag. But you are right.
Also, stylistically, when it comes to the style of play that he's going to be playing, he's going to be bringing attractive football to Manchester United. So no matter which way you look at it, when it comes to experience, when it comes to what he's done in his recent CV, when he stacks up to other managers currently in Europe and what he's done recently with Ajax, there's so many different ways to look at it, but every single way, I feel like this is the perfect manager for you guys to bring in. And I was hoping that you guys were going to bring in Pochettino, because I would have seen the same results, in my opinion, with Pochettino in comparison to Ten Hag. The difference for me is Ten Hag already knows how to deal with improving young players. Same thing as Poch. He already has been working with a budget that has been shoestring, similar to Poch. But with coming into Manchester United, he might be able to bring some of that intel that Ajax has and how they've been running their business for all those times, being so entrenched with that club. And I feel like that is also a key part that we're forgetting here, because Pochettino was never really, like, in my opinion, the main man at Spurs, where Ten Hag, even though he's not the main man at Ajax, he's been there long enough to see how the business dealings of the club is run, and he knows what type of players suit his system.
Yeah.
I'm
I
intrigued.
still want to add one thing. I think, sorry, Terry. I think he's going to need a good structure around him, because it's like driving a Mercedes, a higher Mercedes. Now he's going to be driving a Ferrari. It's a completely different car, completely different machine. He's gonna need a good structure around him. We have to provide him a good footballing structure, and I think Ralph Rangnick being there will help him. Will help him with that, and also Dan Fletcher and John Murtough as well.
Also,
No, I totally agree.
And if we get this assistant DOF or spoiler, wherever it is again, that I think will be encouraging in the sense of we then won't need Ralph to be around for like 20 days a month, which I would want him to be, and the 6 days a month that is reported, I will be a bit more comfortable with that. The team
I agree. I agree completely. Guys, look, we're at the end of the stream now. I appreciate everyone who's phoned in, everyone who's super chatted, everyone who's come on. Please hit the like button before you leave. We're back at 5 o'clock. We're going to be working out who stays, who goes, who's on the chopping block when Ten Hag takes over. Thomas Tuchel news coming tonight, stream later on tonight as well. And then from tomorrow, we start to build up. We've got the 12th man dropping tomorrow. Hot takes with me and Leah's dropping tomorrow as we build up for another blockbuster Premier League weekend. Until next time, everyone, hit that like button, subscribe to the Football Terrace.